Gather in thanks, gather in welcome, family and friends. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate it once again. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in welcome, family and friends. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate it once again. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Thank you, Dina, for those beautiful last notes. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Unity Center for Spiritual Growth. This is our 10 a.m. Sunday celebration, and we are live streaming out to both YouTube and Facebook. If you're on Facebook this morning with us, please put a comment in the comment section. We'd love to know that you're out there saying hello. I've seen Carol Sanford, Carol Holt, Marie Bell. You must be up early. And Cindy Hildreth, good morning, welcome all. I am Kim Copperthwaite. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees here at Unity, and I will be your platform host for our service. Our minister, Pat Reverend Pat Bessie is on a well-deserved vacation with Reverend Leroy Lowell, and we hope they're having a wonderful Sunday. So we will do our best to hold the fort down and go forward. We're so glad that you are joining us today because we have a wonderful service planned. Reverend Matt Purinton is going to be our speaker today. His topic is going to be on non-resistance as an action toward moving to a place of peace. And of course, we will have Dina, our music director, with us throughout the service. We have Chris Purinton behind the scene doing our technology, and Christine Wolf will be on Facebook posting communication and messages just at the right time when we need them. So let us begin our Sunday journey together as we go into the song, "The House That Love Built," and take it away, Dina.
All right, let me lower this a little bit because the StreamYard logo is covering it up. Let me see if I can get it any closer. Yes, I can. Look at that. Okay. Come, let us gather together. This is a place of love. We come together as people of prayer. This is a house built on love. Come, let us gather in peace. This is a sacred space. We join our hearts here in one loving family. This is a house built on love. We come together as people of prayer. This is a house built on love.
And we are a house and a community built on love, whether we are in our beautiful sanctuary on River Road or we're connected electronically, it does not matter. We are one, joining in prayer. I'd like to ask our community for special prayers this morning. Reverend Elizabeth Peterson's husband, Tom, is experiencing a health challenge. So if you would please drop down into your heart space and think of Tom, Reverend Elizabeth, Jordan, her entire family, as they move through this health challenge this morning. Picture Tom surrounded in healing in every cell in his body, working toward healing, and the medical people all around him, feeling confident and secure. And we send this light out to the Peterson family, knowing that they are surrounded in peace and love by this community. And we thank God. I'd also like to share a prayer for world peace with you this morning. So as we pray along here, whatever you think of as God or Spirit, we are connecting with that. I found this prayer online and it was written by Julie Palmers, and I adapted it just a little bit. So if you would take a deep breath and join me again in this prayer, and we say, "Dear Spirit, help us to see the world in wholeness without dividing lines, to see just land and water, mountain, trees, and skies. Help us to lay aside our class and skin, our background and race, to know our shared humanity, to see a brother or sister in every face. Help us to wear forgiveness, to lay down our pride and pain, to seek first to understand, and let peace and reconciliation reign. Help us to feel compassion so we can freely forgive. May we weave new threads of grace and cause seeds of hope live. We play our own small part with acts of kindness and care. May we rise up and seek out what is just and fair. We make new bonds of trust with neighbors near and far, and so we fashion a world where peace comes in this hour. And together as a community, we embrace this peace and compassion with this prayer. We take it into our being. We take it out into our community and out into the world and bring it to life. We confirm this to be the truth, and so it is, and we let it be. Amen. So I'd like to mention that our prayer partner today is Jacqueline Ashla. Jacqueline will be holding space for anybody, and I believe she can be contacted through our prayer partner line if you have a specific request and would like to pray with her. And at this time, we're going to move into our invocation. So if you would please say it with me. We got it up? Yep, we do. Okay. So there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And moving into our vision statement, centered in divine love, we celebrate a spiritually transformed world. And together, our mission statement, Unity Center for Spiritual Growth reaches in to reach out through education, service, and creation of a community. And our core values, we are loving, we are accepting, we are authentic, we are transformative, we are soul-centric, we are compassionate, and we are welcoming. And that is the truth about us. We're going to move now back to Dina for our congregational song.
Oops, put up the wrong one. Congregational song this week is Yes, Lord, Yes. And I will move it down so you can see the words. There we go. And do that. Okay. Do it in this key? Yes. Did I write down that we do it 4 times? Yes, we do it 4 times. I'll say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I'll say yes, Lord, yes, I will trust it every day. When that Spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I'll agree, and my answer will be yes, Lord, yes. I'll say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I'll say yes, Lord, yes, I will trust it every day. When that Spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I'll agree, and my answer will be yes, Lord, yes. I'll say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I'll say yes, Lord, yes, I will
Yes. Thank you, Dina. And we have more. This is Dina. Good morning, Sally Ann. Yes. Thank you for being here. We're going to move into our 5 basic unity principles, and we take it up with one, which is God is a good and everywhere present. Indeed, God is in and around all things. There's no place that God is not present. And during these uncertain times, with the pandemic, it is important to come to ourselves and know that uncertainty causes a tremendous amount of anxiety. However, this is the key of our place where that faith comes from, that God is present, is stayed in the center spot, and helps us to know our second community principle is the Spirit of God lives within each person, therefore all people are inherently good. We believe in the inherent worth of every individual, that there is a spark of divinity in all people, even when they don't always show up that way, even when they are experiencing difficulties in their lives. It does not make anybody less than another person. The Spirit of God lives in us, and it's truly a miracle how any of us come to planet Earth and be and live. So embracing that and respecting that principle. Principle number 3 is we create our life experience through our way of thinking. And this is why we pray in the affirmative, that we think in the affirmative, and we do invocations in the affirmative. We believe, because we are inherently divine people along with God, that when we pray in the affirmative, we are setting energy and motion into action in our lives, and therefore creating peace in the world. Number 4, power in affirmative prayer, which increases our connection. So not only are we praying in the affirmative and bringing it into manifestation, we are also connecting to God and having an open and natural, free conversation. This is something I've been really working hard on, to just have that natural, open conversation with Spirit. And principle number 5 has dropped off my screen, but I know that it is to put all of these principles into action. Without action, it's just talk and it's stagnant. So we take all of these principles, we practice them in our lives. It's never ending. It's part of being human. And we know that it's just not enough to say them. We must live them. All right, we're going to move now into our daily word. Our daily word today is protected. So for Sunday, August 16th, protected. I shine my light and feel protected. Feelings of fear that creep into my life may conjure childhood memories of scary nighttime images and noises. As a child, I may have felt afraid of the dark or startled by an unfamiliar sound, but the morning sunshine always dispelled the darkness, and I realized there was never anything to fear. I keep that knowledge alive as I let the divine presence within dissolve the darkness of fear and shine the light of comfort and safety. Now, when any darkness descends in my life, I remember the protecting love, presence, and power of God expressing as me. As I attune more fully to my divine nature, light dawns within my consciousness, and I realize that God's protection is always mine. And from Psalms 27:1, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? I skipped a line there, but we are protected. Our daily word for today. We're now going to move into some special music by Dina.
All right, so you have the opportunity to join in on the refrain of this song. Let me adjust these here so that you can see the bottom of the page. I'm gonna back it up a little bit here. Oh, and let me see if I can get it any higher. I don't want the words to be tiny, tiny for you, but I do want you to be able to see them. There. Now I can even move that in a little bit. That's better. Okay. All right. Let me move my laptop here and see if it can get me and the lyrics. Okay. All right. So this is a Sue Riley song. Letting Go, Letting God. And I'm gonna get a little water here. You've heard me sing this before. You get to sing the refrain with me today, so I'm gonna sing the refrain for you once. The words to the refrain, the second time it comes around is a little bit different, but the material is the same, so no worries there. So here it is. Letting go, letting go, incredible courage, unbreakable love, just trusting in spirit, you can't go it alone. If you want to find complete peace of mind, let go and let God. Now there's a lot there, so I'm going to do it again. Here we are. Letting go, letting go, incredible courage, unbreakable love, just trusting in spirit, you can't go it alone. If you want to find complete peace of mind, let go and let God. All right, here's the top of the song. It starts with the verse. Why are you crying? Oh, child, don't you know that if you want solutions, you have to let go. You're clutching your problems, held tight to your chest. Just give them to spirit, let it do the rest. Letting go, letting go, incredible courage, unbreakable love, just trusting in spirit, you can't go it alone. If you want to find complete peace of mind, let go and let God. Why are you trying so hard, child of God? Just open your sails to the winds of God's love. An open vessel
thoughts will dissolve as your fears fall behind. Letting go, letting go. Incredible courage, unbreakable love. Just trusting in spirit. You can't go it alone. Let's change it. Start living again. Let go and let God. If you want to find complete peace of mind, let go and let God.
Thank you, Dina. I'm hoping everybody can hear me. I put a mic on to make it a little bit more clear. We're now going to move into Reverend Matt Purinton's message, and we'll move right along with that. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Kim. I wanted to say, first of all, it's great to be with everyone. This is a wonderful opportunity. I really enjoy the Sunday services, but it's just great to know that everyone's kind of on and joining this together. Second thing is I wanted to thank you. Again, so appreciative of Dina's music ministry, and we discovered a relatively new talent in Kim, who has a clear talent for platforming and leading the service. Thank you, Kim. So without further ado, good morning again to everyone. Our topic this morning is non-resistance, and I think it'll not be quite what you expect. A quote from Rumi before we begin. You can never go wrong quoting Rumi. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. Non-resistance. This is not a phrase you hear very often in our currently hyper-partisan and racially charged culture. Often when you're in the midst of times that really, really need the tenets of non-resistance brought to the fore, it is during these times when it seems the least practical of options. Every Sunday, we go through our 5 wonderful unity principles. And what is the second one, which Kim just read recently? This isn't a quiz, I promise. The second one is God is in all of us, so we are all inherently good. And Kim spoke to this, how no matter what you're seeing or what you think you're seeing, that doesn't change the truth of who we all are. At our core, we are all the same. Now, people choose to respond to this world differently, how they decide to respond to what they perceive as their reality. And some of those responses can look quite spectacular and not in perhaps a good way. But no matter how they look behavior-wise, they are all our brothers and sisters in the truth of who they are. They have just forgotten. So why is this important in the discussion about non-resistance? And I'm beginning here because if you can truly realize that truth, it is much less likely you'll resist them as people and create resistance in yourself, even as you take part in actions that make it clear that you support maybe a different path. Separating the person from the action. It does not mean you do not take action. The action just comes from a very different place, which we'll discuss further on in more detail. A quote from Martin Luther King: "Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Hate multiplies hate. Violence multiplies violence. And toughness multiplies toughness in a descending spiral of destruction. Non-resistance is not what most of society thinks. To most of society, this term immediately equates to giving up your power, to weakness, to being taken advantage of. We've often viewed in some of our favorite TV shows or movies, the bad guy or girl saying, it doesn't matter what you do, this is going to happen. Or perhaps most famously for Star Trek fans, the Borg saying, resistance is futile. And we hear that, and it has a reaction in us. We respond to that viscerally, which is of course the point of the plot. The idea of resistance has been imbued with a sense of noble sacrifice that it does not deserve. Heroic resistance is an idea applied to many processes that we would define as not ending well, whether to a military outcome, a relationship, a health process, and many other descriptors. Gandhi, and you knew he'd be coming into this talk somewhere, who could be considered the modern prophet for non-resistance and action through non-violence, said, "Non-violence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind. It is mightier than the mightiest weapon of destruction devised by the ingenuity of man." And we all know and can appreciate how unfortunately ingenious man is with the weapons of destruction, but still, this truth, non-violence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind. It is mightier than the mightiest weapon of destruction devised by the ingenuity of man. And next, from Imelda Shanklin's book, What Are You? Imelda Shanklin was a Unity author from the early 20th century. Probably one of my personal favorites. This is my favorite book that she wrote, is titled, What Are You? And this from that book. Non-resistance is stronger than resistance. Its practice requires more mind capacity than is required for resistance. Its appeal is to the divine thing in you. It is the essence of God. Non-resistance means not to oppose mentally or physically. In non-resistance, there is no misuse of power through combativeness or through defensive tactics. The strength of all your gifts can be turned to the creation of harmonies. So now let's spend a little bit looking at how resistance manifests itself in our experience at an often subconscious level. These are just some of the myriad of ways we are taught and conditioned to allow the reflex of resistance into our experience, and often not aware of it. Resistance, the experience of resistance, is experienced much more mentally than physically. We develop our patterns of resistance from a very young age by labeling things in our mind. Often we're being taught to label things in our mind, right, wrong, good, bad, and often it's very socially and culturally based. Those containers or categories just grow as we get older. They become automatic. So for example, if I said the term traffic jam, I would imagine most of you hear the term and immediately apply a definition to it, a judgment to it. Bad, not good, not something I enjoy. And it goes into the not good sort of container. And along with that initial reaction, if you look, there's a little bit of an energetic reaction of defensive pushing away, of resistance. Another example, fairly drastic example, is the IRS. If I say that term, the IRS, again, I would think most of us have a reaction that's not positive. You know, we think, ugh, bad, don't want to be involved with them at all. And that goes again into that negative container. And again, there is a bit of an energetic transaction that goes on there, that if you look, there's a little bit of resistance that comes up. It's like, oh, you know, the IRS. And even more subtly, you know, in our existence, you know, for example, if we look at a weather forecast, and it's supposed to be sunny, and the forecast has changed now, and now it says rain, or up here in the Northeast, maybe snow or sleet when it was supposed to be clear. And even there, on a subtle level, there's a judgment that's bad, that's not good. Maybe not as clear as traffic jam in the IRS, but there still is that transaction of labeling that and having that little bit of resistant energy kind of take part in the transaction. Oh, you know, not what I wanted. And again, when I'm talking through this, you can look at this, go, my Lord, you know, it's not about being perfect, okay? This is all about this, our talk today, this message today isn't about pointing out where we're falling down, not at all. It's all just about increasing our awareness so that maybe we can look at that and maybe make different choices or practice making different choices. So when you hear this, it's all about the process, which we'll see again in a bit. Eckhart Tolle talks about non-resistance frequently in his teachings, as he talks about the power of now. And I imagine many of you are probably familiar with Eckhart's teachings. A quote from him: "Non-resistance doesn't necessarily mean doing nothing. All it means is that any doing becomes non-reactive. Remember the deep wisdom underlying the practice of Eastern martial arts. Don't resist the opponent's force. Yield to overcome." Let's look at an example that many of us have experienced in our lives through family and friends, and sometimes ourselves. And this is a serious illness, you know, a health process, whether it's cancer, probably is the one that comes to mind most quickly, or lung issues, or immune issues, or back issues, but a serious health issue that we've either witnessed or experienced. So let's take a look at our approach to a serious health issue through the lens of non-resistance. First, I would imagine we have all heard of the idea that originated, or was at least popularized, by Carl Jung. Anything you resist persists. You might have seen, it was my son, not realizing I was going through the message here. Anything you resist persists. So start that again. First, I would imagine we've all heard the idea that originated, or was at least popularized, by Carl Jung. Anything you resist persists. And why is that? For this, we look at Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So for our illness example, we would want all our energies, as much as possible, to be spent in a way that maximizes our body's ability to heal. Any energy being spent on fear and resistance, and again, no matter how understandable, it is just recognizing that this is energy not available to the healing process. So again, this whole discussion, this whole message isn't about doing anything wrong. It's all about increasing awareness. So again, Eckhart Tolle's quote: "Non-resistance doesn't necessarily mean doing nothing. All it means is that any doing becomes non-reactive. Remember the deep wisdom underlying the practice of Eastern martial arts. Don't resist the opponent's force. Yield to overcome. In per our discussion around the healing process, it doesn't mean not taking action. It just means, as much as possible, not taking your actions out of a place of resistance. Non-resistance does not mean you do not take any and all appropriate action for your healing. Non-resistance does not mean, the concept of non-resistance does not mean you do not take all appropriate action to keep yourself safe in a relationship that maybe is not helpful to you. Non-resistance does not mean you do not take action to help others who may need your help, that you choose to, that you want to help. Non-resistance means whatever action you take is taken from a place of peace on the inside of you, of stillness, of recognizing the eternal truth of who you are and the eternal truth of those around you. And now again, that quote from Unity author Imelda Shanklin. So I'm doing the quote again because we've kind of talked about the concept of it, right? So I'm doing the quote again, so now that we have a different, maybe, framework in which to hear it. Non-resistance does not means not to oppose. Non-resistance means not to oppose mentally or physically. In non-resistance, there is no misuse of power through combativeness or through defensive tactics. The strength of all your gifts can be turned to the creation of harmonies. So what does non-resistant action ultimately look like? It can look like taking every step you feel is appropriate in whatever process you are in, healing, relationship, job, a cause you're involved in. It is just that these steps are taken from a place of non-opposition internally. They are not fear-based. They do not push against whatever you are working through. They are done from a place of peace, from becoming friends with the present moment, from an awareness of the eternal truth of who you are. So now, before you give me the quiet eye roll and think to yourself, that sounds great, but there's no way. This is not about perfection. This is not about doing it right. And this is not about measuring up. This is about our learning process, recognizing everything here in this classroom we call the world is part of our learning process. All it takes is a little willingness on your part to practice. Just begin practicing a non-resistant approach, and it will absolutely make a difference in how you experience your life. And in closing, this from Jesus, our way shower here at Unity, from John 14:27. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. Amen, and thank you.
Thank you, Matt. That was a wonderful message. Non-resistance is a fundamental principle of peace. I thought you did a wonderful job of showing how that also relates in our personal life as well as in the outer world. So thank you so much for that message. For those of you who don't know Reverend Matt Purinton, I neglected to introduce him. He is our board president here at Unity, and a wonderful stabilizing force, a capable force in our community. So thank you very much. We are now going to move into meditation with Reverend Matt.
So just checking, does Dina lead us into meditation first, or just making sure? Okay, apparently not. So please join me. And the way we'll do this is very relaxed, very gentle. All right. So start just by taking 5 breaths, and what we're doing is we're just centering ourselves here. So this morning, if you've opened the paper, if you've watched the news, if you've had an interaction with somebody that maybe didn't go quite right, just take this time, initially with these 5 breaths, just to let it drop off, okay? So breathe in nice and gently. And now, as we move forward in our meditation, what we're going to do is we're going to use the meditation and use the breath as kind of a cleansing and a cathartic process. So, for example, let's start by breathing in love and breathing out fear. Breathe in love. Breathe out fear. Breathe in love. Breathe out fear. Now we're going to move a little bit. Breathe in forgiveness. Breathe out guilt. Breathe in forgiveness. Breathe out guilt. Breathe in peace. Breathe out anxiety. Breathe in peace. Breathe out anxiety. And as we move forward through our meditation, you can use any of those, or you can create your own. You can breathe in holiness, breathe out shame, breathe in eternity, breathe out time. But you can always come back to breathing in love and breathing out fear. Gentle and kind. And if your mind begins to wander, which is perfectly natural, just come back to breathing in love, breathing out fear. Just picture that filling you as you breathe in. Gentle, always gentle. And as we come back into the present from that place of stillness on the inside of us, I would ask that as we move through the rest of our service today, that as much as possible, you stay into that place of service. If you have any feelings of anxious anxiety come up, just breathe in peace, breathe out the anxiety, and just stay in that place of stillness as much as possible. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. We're going to move into special music now by Dina.
We're going to close out the meditation here first before I do the music. And for clarity's sake, yes, I do usually lead in to the meditations. But we've all ended up here just fine. Here we are. Amen. So for the offering song, this is a song that I wrote a number of years ago, based on some words of Mark Nepo. I have his day book, the name of which escapes me right now. It's very well known. And in January 19th is the day in the day book where he talks about this. He says, I have to come closer to read my own handwriting on my sheet music. He says, slowness remembers and hurry forgets. Softness remembers and hardness forgets. Surrender remembers and fear forgets. Slowness discovers what our hurry leaves behind. Softness uncovers what our hardness tries to hide. Surrender remembers what our fear has forgotten. Surrender remembers the birthright that is ours. Surrender remembers what our fear has forgotten. Surrender remembers the birthright that is ours to find. Surrender remembers. Surrender remembers. Silence speaks
never say. Simplicity holds dearly what all our glamour tries to toss away. Surrender remembers what our fear has forgotten. Surrender remembers the birthright that is ours. Surrender remembers what our fear has forgotten. Surrender remembers the birthright that is ours to find. Surrender remembers. Surrender remembers. Surrender remembers. Surrender remembers. Surrender remembers.
A beautiful surrender song. Thank you, Dina. It's time for announcements. And I'll start with today. Today, after the service, we have our coffee hour on Zoom. I joined for the first time last week, and I discovered that coffee is not actually served. You've got to come with your own. So if you're thinking of joining and you never have, give it a try. You can hook onto the Zoom link through the comment section, and I believe Christine has posted it. Christine Wolf will be the host of that Zoom coffee hour, so please join us. At noon today is A Course in Miracles with Reverend Matt. I believe the information for that is also posted on our comments. And also happening today at 12:15 is a vigil for action, justice, and equity. And this takes place every Sunday at 12:15 at the traffic circle on Route 302 in Windham. If you feel called to do this, you can simply just show up. I understand there are signs available, and it's just to get the presence out there that we support equity and justice as a unity community. We have a lot going on Facebook Live. Every morning at 6:30 in the morning, Reverend Elizabeth does a wonderful meditation. She does her bowls and her beautiful voice. I've been joining that lately. So if you are an early bird and would like to meditate at 6:30 in the morning, she streams out on Facebook with that. At 12:10 every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have a midday faith lift that Reverend Barbara does, and you can get that on Facebook Live as well. 5 p.m. every Friday, we have our community dinner, and Reverend D is in charge of that. If you would like to join the community dinner, it's socially distanced, it's outdoors. It's a great way to connect with people with your mask on safely. And if you'd like to join, we just ask that you message Reverend D by 8 p.m. on Wednesday. And I believe that information is in the comment section on Facebook here, or you can go to our website and the information will be there. Friday evenings at 7 o'clock, our music director, Dina, is on Facebook Live doing a wonderful, wonderful kind of a concert. I call it a sing-along. I love joining on Friday nights, so check that out if you're interested. And finally, we have 2 upcoming events. One is a spiritual exploration class. It's the second part of this, or a continuation of what started. It's called Spiritual Exploration of Privilege, Racism, and Allyship. That class is going to be happening on the 3rd Thursday of the month from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Please register for that class by August 18th. You can register on our website. If you participated in the first part of this class, you do need to register again. So if you would like to continue, please go to the website and register. We also have a silent retreat planned for October. This is a retreat that will be happening at the Marie Joseph Center in Biddeford, and it will be happening October 25th through the 28th. Jack Siri is in charge of that. It looks like there are a couple of different options for attending. So please check out Heart Thoughts this week. Go to our website, and there will be more information on that. It's kind of exciting to think that this can actually happen at Marie Joseph. So I'm hoping that all will be well for that in October. All right, it is time for us to think about our offering. We want to thank everybody who does weekly or monthly donations automatically to Unity Center of Spiritual Growth. It's helping us tremendously during this time. It helps us continue the Sunday celebration service and support all that goes on in our community, even though we are not physically meeting at this time. If you would like to donate and you have not done so, you can go to our website at unitygreaterportland.org and you can donate. There's a donate button. There's also our River Road address if you would like to send in a mail-in donation. So all of the information is there. And again, we are so grateful for any amount that anyone is able to give us. So for our offering, let us say our offering statement together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, for the joy of giving. Dina is going to lead us into our peace song now.
And there's the lyrics. I'll load a little bit. I know it's just there. This key. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to me. With God as the one source, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And please hold with me the vision that we will soon be back in our sanctuary, holding our hands and singing that song together again. I'm going to move into our prayer for protection now to end our service. So please join me as Dina gets the words up. And I'm looking for Dina's to see, yep, she has the same words that I do this week. So please join me, our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love. The power of God protects me. I am the power. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a wonderful Sunday. Remember to stay on if you'd like to join us for the Zoom coffee hour. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.